Welcome to the Backdoor Fantasy Sports Podcast with Russo and Jordy.
All right. Well, week 3 is in the books, and it's been a wild first 3 weeks as far as like what to predict. A lot of starters out, a lot of injuries, a lot of guys emerging, and a lot of offenses and defenses not looking like what I was personally projecting. But it's been fun. We're thankful to have football back. We're going to go through the Sunday, Monday recap today on today's show, and we're also going to talk about Waiver Wire and our favorite Waiver Wire ads. We're going to just go through all of Sleeper's trending players and just kind of do a little rundown. And by the way, if you normally tune into our show and you're wondering why my background just looks kind of weird, it's because I'm actually with family out at the beach for the week. And so I still didn't want to just miss out on all the fantasy football fun and all the pick shows. So I brought my rig and I'm in a little like extra closet in our beach house. So, but actually, could be worse. I almost brought one of my colored lights, but it uses Wi-Fi and I wasn't sure if it would work. I should have just brought it, get a little bit more color behind me, but we're good. So yeah, let's get into it. If you have not signed up for Underdog yet, though, they're one of our official partners, and they've just been giving us goodies since football started, even like a week before football started. They continue to improve their platform. They've got alt lines now for Pick'em, some really fun alt lines. If you use the mobile app, you can get alt lines for receiving, for most things. Sometimes I even see it on there for like combinations of like rushing, receiving, and they'll let you crank the lines way up. So if you're unfamiliar with what like an alt line is with like daily fantasy prop play type stuff, it's essentially like they give you the line that's like the basic line, like something like, like let's say Jamar Chase at like 79.5 receiving yards. You can bump that up to like 89.5 or, as high as you want to go. And they'll keep boosting your multiplier, kind of like create your own Scorcher. Or if you're familiar with Prize Picks, you can create your own demons and goblins and stuff. It's been a lot of fun, but they've added like the no sweat token, which is kind of like create your own protected play. And they've been throwing tons of boosts where you just build your slip out and then you just literally choose to throw a 20-30% boost on all your multipliers. It's been a lot of fun. So if you guys want to jump on Underdog, just use code BACKDOOR or click the link in the description for Underdog, and they're going to give you up to $1,000 bonus cash with your first deposit, and they're going to give you a free pick. And the pick that's on the board currently is Patrick Mahomes, 0.5 passing yards. So we know, barring an injury, that's definitely going to cash. So all sorts of goodies on there. And they've got a vulture protection for running backs, which I'm sure Jonathan Taylor should have got one, because I was really frustrated that, he ran all the way down the field. They moved the ball all the way down the field. And then at like the 2-yard line, they bring in Trey Sermon to get the touchdown. So yeah, man, it doesn't help me for fantasy football, but on Underdog, if you had that, they would still cash you the Jonathan Taylor touchdown because he got vultured. So it's a pretty cool feature they added. So yeah, use code BACKDOOR and get hooked up with all those goodies. And while I'm talking about it, we're also partners with Sleeper. Sleeper's been definitely as well, like just upgrading their platform. And it really is just so fun that it's right inside the Sleeper app, the best app for fantasy football by far. And they're running specials as much as Underdog, it seems like, and Chalkboard. All of these platforms are running all these specials right now. And it's good to diversify the platforms you're on. But with Sleeper, you get 100% deposit match up to $100 when you use code BACKDOORFS. So just throw the FS on the end there, and they'll give you that 100% deposit match. And they're running alt lines now too, plays as low as $1. Just a lot of fun. It's a fun time of year. Also excited that we're 28 days away from NBA, so yeah, it's going to get wild. It was wild last year. I think it'll be even crazier this year. Now that we have the fantasy football show too, but yeah. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we drop our videos. And we post a lot to our community section on YouTube as well. Sometimes we'll just throw plays up there that we like, or we'll keep you informed of what our schedule is looking like when we're going to be dropping our videos. But yeah, and give us a like if you enjoy our show. It's the best way to support the channel. It just helps us get in front of a larger audience, and you guys have been great about it. We really appreciate you. So let's get into some football. Let's talk about the recap here.
Let's do it.
So I think we can talk about it a little bit, but I think we covered a little bit of the recap on Friday's show for the Thursday game. Yeah, essentially Patriots just look really rough. They did have 3 offensive linemen out, I think, and you could definitely tell. And also Aaron Rodgers played a great game. Braylon Allen, we'll talk about him on the waiver section for sure. But yeah, they got crushed. They looked really rough. And then it makes you think like this is the team that beat the Bengals week 1. Bengals 0-3 now. It's looking rough. But all right, let's start with the first game here. Giants versus Browns. Giants ended up getting in there and getting a win. They looked a little bit better this week, 21-15. We got let's see. Sorry, because of the beach internet, I'm also moving a little bit slower with my internet. But yeah, Daniel Jones, 24 of 34, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty solid outing.
Yeah.
And the Browns, I mean,
welcome back, Browns. You guys are in true form right now.
Yeah. 21 of 37 for Deshaun Watson, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Looks like Jerome Ford's leading the backfield there. 10 carries, 37 yards.
Yeah.
But on the Giants, Malik Neighbors, he's doing what we hoped he would be doing. He's dominating right out of the gates. He actually had 2 carries too, but he ended up going 8 receptions, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This dude is stacking up the touchdowns early, man.
Yeah,
this is working out perfect for the Malik Neighbors owners. And I know, like, Devin Singletary still getting the majority of the carries, 16 carries to Tyron Tracy's 5. Singletary went for 4.1 yards per carry on average, which is pretty solid. Tracy still looked better, 4.6, but 16 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown for Singletary.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Devin Singletary, or even if you don't, the one part of the offense that I'm holding on to, I have him on my taxi squad, is Tyron Tracy. I drafted him in our rookie draft this year, and I've just been holding on to him because he looks great. And if Singletary, something happens with him, he's going to get all that work. So that's a guy I would definitely stash for sure. If you have like a deep bench league, I think he's worth a taxi spot, or at least a bench
for Dynasty especially.
Yeah,
he's clearly the 2. And if Singletary ends up missing any time, like, I think Tracy will for sure be the guy. I don't think it'll be much of a committee.
Yeah, like
Brian Dable tends to just pick one guy and give him the majority. But we had finally a breakout for Amari Cooper. 7 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. But now it looks like he's a little banged up. And I've been starting him. I have him in a couple leagues, and I've been starting him week after week, because he's been continuing to get a lot of targets, but it just hasn't, he hasn't been turning it into much. But 12 targets in this game, 2 touchdowns, 86 yards, 7 receptions. So full PPR especially, he had a great game. Hopefully he's, not out for an extended period of time or anything.
Right.
Did you have anything else to touch on this Giants game?
Not really. No, I mean, it just looks really rough for the Browns. I mean, that was at Cleveland, right? So another home loss is pretty rough.
Yeah, I don't know what to do there. Deshaun Watson didn't look like he had like a terrible game, that's not not like a super exciting game, but yeah, we'll see how that works out. We have Packers, Titans. Packers get it done. Malik Willis has this revenge game that he was waiting for. And it looked like he played pretty well. Let's see here, 30-14. Malik Willis, 13 of 19 for 202 yards and a touchdown. And then he rushed for a touchdown too, right? 6 carries, 73 yards and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, for a while there, he was leading the day in rushing yards. I was like, all right, Malik's going nuts. But it was pretty funny because me and Bobby, another guy who was in our Dynasty League, we were watching the games together on Discord, and I was like, I wonder when Will Levis is going to throw a touchdown in the other direction. And then literally like 2 plays later, he throws that pick six. And I was just like, man, he's just not the right guy. I mean, it's so weird because he shows flashes of like, okay, he's being consistent right now. He has really good drives. And then he just completely has a mental breakdown like halfway through the game. It's like the same time every game. It's like right after halftime when the game gets into crunch time, he starts just turning into like a turnover machine.
Yeah, not a terrible outing. I mean, the picks are bad, obviously, but 26 of 34, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3 carries for 12 yards. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. Pollard, only 6 carries for 14 yards. Did you do much on receiving here?
3 for 15.
3 for 15. So, and well, one thing that was surprising to me is it was, which maybe it shouldn't be, but it was kind of surprising to me. It seemed like for sure, I don't know if they were just scheming, if the Packers may have been scheming to lock up Calvin Ridley, but he only had 1 reception for 9 yards.
Yeah, all Hopkins.
Only 3 targets. So it must have been a game plan type thing because, you know, they were talking about making him basically like the Jamar Chase of this offense, and that's what we were expecting. But yeah, Hopkins 6 receptions, 73 yards and a touchdown. I mean, Hopkins is still great. It's not that we were down on him, but it just seemed like they were going to force feed Calvin. But Treylon Burks, a lot of people have been out on him for a long time, and I've been holding out hope for Dynasty because we've got deep benches in our Dynasty league, and I've been hanging on to him. And you know what the problem is? Last year, I was still drinking the Kool-Aid for Treylon Burks, and someone dropped him, did like a rage drop. And I dropped, I don't know what I was thinking. I was feeling impulsive, and I dropped like 100 fab because I was like, dude, he's going to bounce back. And sometimes you make such a huge purchase that you take too long to drop them later.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be dropping him and I've got plenty of wide receivers with upside on my team, but someone like Treylon Burks, it's just because of the prospect, and he was supposed to be the guy to replace AJ Brown, and, you know, drafted high. And, but this is not news to anybody. I'm sure he's on most people's waiver wires, but I'm officially dropping him this week.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else? How Josh Jacobs do? 14 carries, 43 yards.
Yeah, he had a rough outing.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Did he get hurt or anything?
No, he just had a really rough day, and they started splitting the timeshare with Emmanuel Wilson, who I've been holding on to for just a little bit, like since I think like week 1. But I think Emmanuel Wilson looks really good. He seems to have the more meaningful carries. I mean, 12 yards for 50, 12 carries for 50 yards, averaging 4.2, a rush there. So I think Emmanuel Wilson looks good. He looks bigger. He looks a little bit,
he's got juice for sure.
Yeah. He looks more fit for the job in my opinion, but maybe that's just because I have him.
Yeah. a little bit of bias there.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a totally different story when Jordan Love comes back. Obviously, like Malik Willis got this done and they found a way. It looks like it's pretty run heavy. Jaden Reed, I ended up not starting him this week. He didn't do terrible. 4 receptions, 50 yards. Did they rush him at all? Yeah, he got 2 carries for 19 yards. He's a lot of fun to have, but I've just been kind of like, I think I'm going to just hold out until Jordan Love comes back because I have some guys I'd rather be starting. But yeah, let's keep it rolling here. All right, so Bears Colts. Colts end up winning this one 21-16, but my gosh, this is a little discouraging as an Anthony Richardson owner. He's still got a lot to work out. He's got all of the upside with his athleticism and, week 1, just the beautiful deep balls that he's throwing. But I think that they'll figure it out soon, but this is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a bumpy ride because, I mean, 10 of 20. Like the pass attempts are super low week after week. 10 of 20, 167 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His accuracy is pretty rough at the moment, but this is someone who, like, even through his like college career, like he's really green when it comes to understanding what it means to be a quarterback. He's got 19 total starts, I believe, including college. So he's not one of these quarterbacks that has had like a ton of reps under his belt when he comes into the league.
Yeah, it's just straight up athleticism with him. Like he's just athletic, Greek god of a build. So he's got to just figure it out.
Yeah, Caleb Williams was going a little crazy. 33 of 52 attempts, 363 yards.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's pretty wild.
His interceptions too don't look horrible to me. Like he's just trying to do too much, and I think he'll settle down eventually, but he keeps doing that thing where he like scrambles out of the pocket and tries to make some miraculous play happen. And it's like, dude, it's like second down, it's okay to just throw the ball away. You don't have to try to make something out of everything. So I think once he just settles in and gets rid of that weird tick he has where it's like, I got to make a play every single play, I think he'll do fine. But I think his interceptions are just straight up, just being a baby in the league right now.
Yeah. And Richardson, 8 carries, 24 yards. This doesn't look like it's all on Richardson. Like this offense as a unit just doesn't look like it did last year. It's looking like slower. I think that they were pretty fast paced last year, getting a lot of plays per game. I am pretty excited though. Roschon Johnson, I've been hanging on to him for a while. We all think DeAndre Swift is just awful. He's pretty much a fraud. For Swift, 13 carries, 20 yards. We've been saying this every week. Like last week, I think it was like, what was it, like 14 carries for 18 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
like this dude is
just not good.
No. And Roschon comes in, 8 carries, 30 yards. Did he get involved? Roschon's a good pass catcher. 4 receptions, 32 yards. I think that this is an exciting time where this backfield is pretty wide open. But yeah, Roschon out carried Khalil Herbert as well. Khalil goes for 4 carries, 9 yards. Did he get involved in the passing game? No. So no targets for Khalil. So I'm excited. Like Roschon's worth rostering and picking up if he's in your league. It might take a couple more games, but he looks way more fit. He could definitely emerge as the back to own out there.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor getting the usage we were hoping for. 23 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Could have been even more of a monster day if he wouldn't have gotten vultured by Trey Sermon on that one. But Roma Dunze, 6 receptions, 112 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Cole Kmet, 10 receptions, 97 yards and a touch.
Yeah, that was one I regretted not taking on the pick show over Jaylen Warren. There's just a lot of things. We'll get into the Steelers here in a minute, but with Cole Kmet, I was like, man, he just looks like his most reliable weapon right now when it comes to Caleb Williams. Like his receptions were set at like 3.5, and I took it in like a bunch of my parlays yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, that was just such an easy play. But I think Cole Kmet looks awesome. If you guys have Cole Kmet, I think that's going to be one of the better tight ends this year for sure, because he's just getting so much volume.
Nice. It looks like because like those first couple of weeks, Shane Waldron was like getting Gerald Everett pretty heavily involved, and it's like, I don't know. I hope that they just pick one of them, preferably Cole. Pick one and let them get in rhythm.
Yeah, I think they were maybe thinking like to me, like when they were using Everett, it kind of looked like they were trying to use him like Likely to me, because he is more of an athletic type of guy. Like if you've ever seen Gerald Everett run when he was with the Chargers, he was super athletic. So it kind of looked like they were trying to bring him in for those big plays like Likely, but I think it was just a little too predictable. And I think, a veteran like Kmet just really helps Caleb Williams out. And we were seeing that the other day with, pulled up something. We were seeing that the other day with, who was it? Wanted to, oh shit, I can't remember right now. It'll come to me later. But yeah, he's just, I think, having a veteran tight end really just helps like a rookie get easy completions. And Zach Ertz, that's who it was. Zach Ertz. What a perfect weapon to bring in for Jaden Daniels. Like that's what you want to do. Like you get your young player, a savvy tight end who can just get open in the middle of the field. It's too easy for those guys.
Yeah, great security blanket if plays are breaking down. We got Vikings dominating the Texans, making a real statement to go to 3-0, 34-7. That defense, we've been talking about it on the show. That defense is stout, and that's very impressive. No points in the first half, 1 touchdown in the third quarter, nothing in the fourth. Wow, really impressive. Look at the box score real quick. Stroud, 20 of 31, 215 and a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Darnold, 17 of 28, 181, 4 touchdowns. Wow.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's on a revenge tour, everyone. This dude is... I mean, Aaron Jones looks amazing, though. I was saying this the other day. I'm like, I regret my trade now. I thought I was going to get cute with the trade in the beginning of the season, and I traded Aaron Jones for Zach Moss and a first because I thought Zach Moss is just younger. I thought Aaron Jones, I was like, okay, maybe this team... To me, it looked like the Vikings with, like, their quarterback, their rookie quarterback getting hurt, and, like, all of that stuff. I was like, okay, maybe they go into, like, somewhat of, like, not a rebuild, but they're going to have a rough year. It's the complete opposite. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to lose his job. Like, I think that rookie is going to be fighting to get the start now. We don't really know how good he's going to be yet, but it's like Sam Darnold is playing like Tom Brady right now. Like, he's not making mistakes. He's protecting the ball. He throws the ball away. He's not taking sacks. Like, the dude is just playing lights out right now. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and the thing is like Kevin O'Connell's always been good with getting the best situation for his quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I still like your side of that trade personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's horrible.
Even right now, especially if you got a first as well, because Jones is, getting up there in age, and I'm not convinced that he is going to be doing this all year.
Yeah.
He's known for a hot start and then missing time, but 19 carries, 102 yards, 5 receptions, 46 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Naylor is an every week flex, in my opinion, until Addison is back, to 100%. Nothing too crazy, 3 receptions, 31 yards and a touchdown, but I like Naylor for if you just, really need like a wide receiver 3 or a flex. Like, he's pretty solid floor, not too big of a ceiling, but solid floor. Nico Collins, 4 receptions, 86 yards. Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions, 94 yards. So yeah, I guess they really held them in the end zone. They kept them from scoring. It looks like they were able to move the ball relatively good. How did Akers do this week? Ooh.
Yeah, not great.
Oh, that's receiving. Okay. 9 carries, 21 yards. Yeah, that's a rough outing.
Yeah, they need Joe Mixon. Like, that's what I've been making that point a lot with Mixon, where it's like he's that old school runner where he's just going to get you the dirty yards that you need to impose the run game. Obviously, it got him hurt, but the dude just runs into a brick wall every time he runs the ball. So it helps open up that passing game a lot, where it's like, do we have to load the box for Mixon right now, or are they going to go up top? So they really need him back.
Yeah, very impressive. All right, let's move on.
Let's talk about why you should be using Chalkboard, the daily fantasy platform that runs specials every day of the week. Build plays for as low as $1 and enjoy the wide variety of alt lines. The higher the line, the higher the payout. It's that simple. Once you've made your picks, you can go whole hog with their max cash option or insure yourself with their shield play option. Download Chalkboard on your Apple or Android device and use code BACKDOOR for a 100% deposit match.
All right, so let's talk about the Eagles versus the Saints. Wild situation, second highest over under of the week. Thought this was going to be a lot more scoring, but yeah, the Eagles end up pulling it off 15-12 after going scoreless in the first 3 quarters. They go 15-9 in the fourth. It was such a defensive game. Hats off to the Eagles. The Saints team was red hot, dominating on offense, and the Eagles kept them in check for like basically the whole game.
Yep. I think Saquon Barkley is one of the most exciting fantasy football players you can have right now. Dude put up a monster week for me. I mean, let's take a look at the stats here. He had 17 carries for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also hauled in 4 receptions for only 9 yards. But in a full PPR league like I'm in, I'll take all of that. But, on the other side of the ball, you got Alvin Kamara, 26 carries for 87 yards. And he also had 3 receptions for 40 yards. So, like, the amount of volume that Saquon gets, like 17 carries, and he, almost doubled the amount of yards that Kamara had. And it's like, the dude, it just seems like every carry he has is so meaningful behind that offensive line. Like 8.6 yards per carry and 2 rushing touchdowns is insane. So yeah. I'm so stoked that I held on to him.
Yeah, bro. Saquon and Alvin Kamara, especially for Dynasty, they were getting up into that window where you're kind of like, okay, in the next couple of years, I got to see what I can get for these guys and, like start gauging that. But my gosh, Saquon looks like in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
First time playing for a team that is actually good. Not just good, but has a chance at, making a run at the Super Bowl. Then you have Alvin Kamara, who is even more in that category of like, okay, like what am I going to do with Kamara in Dynasty? And if you held on to him, this usage on this offense, we'll see. They came out hot for 2 weeks. But even in this game that they lost, 26 carries, 87 yards, like at least Kamara is just basically the centerpiece of this offense. Three receptions, 40 yards. Yep. But how about Dallas Goedert, man? Yeah. 10 receptions, 170 yards. Just, Jeez. It was awesome. Yeah. It was so awesome. Like Devonta Smith ended up getting banged up in that back half of the game. Still went for seven receptions for 79 yards. Is Devonta, is he okay? Let me see. Just gonna check real quick. Okay, so it was a concussion. So hopefully he can get through the concussion protocol. The concussion protocol is a little bit dicey because the NFL is, just making sure they're being more extensive on making sure these guys are good to go. But hopefully he is able to clear before the next game so he can play.
Yeah. I mean, other than the interception, Jalen Hurts had a pretty crazy game. 29 completions on 38 attempts for 311 yards. He did have the 1 interception, but the dude was spreading the ball. Goddard got 10 receptions. Devonta Smith got 7. Paris Campbell was catching balls. Kenneth Gainwell was catching balls. Covey, Johnny Wilson, Jahan Dotson. So like the dude he really looks good. I mean, I was not on the bandwagon of Jalen Hurts. Like I cannot stand the Eagles to save my life. But I was just like, Jalen Hurts looks really good. I think he makes insanely good decisions a lot of the time. But when it comes to like just when to run the ball and when to throw the ball, but I'm starting to see it with the arm talent. I mean, he's really got a good arm and he's got good accuracy. So he's going to be awesome for a long time.
Yeah, man, that Eagles defense locked up Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah,
5 targets for not even 1 catch. Like that was a bummer for a lot of player props. I took him in a lot.
He did drop a touchdown though. I saw that it hit him in the hands and he just dropped it. So that was rather unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have cashed probably a lot of my fantasy slips.
Yeah.
But all right, let's keep it rolling here. Huge morale boost for Eagles fans, though.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we got Chargers, Steelers. Steelers end up getting the dub, 20-10. Justin Fields, 25 of 32 for 245 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris was a little bit more productive with his carries this week.
No
18
Joey
carries,
Bosa.
70 yards.
Yeah. Joey Bosa he's hurt. That's what I was saying with the Bosa brothers. Like, I think in the last episode, I was like, they're great when they're healthy, but they get hurt rolling out of bed. Unfortunately, that's always the thing with them is those two. I think they just have so much dang muscle that they just get hurt all the time. Those guys are huge, but Khalil Mack's playing pretty solid. I think he looks, he's always obviously pretty good, but yeah, the Steelers defense, man, they just, like I said, they have too much talent. Like Patrick Queen, 4 tackles, 4 assists. Deshaun Elliott looks really good. They have Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt. There's just talent everywhere. Mika Fitzpatrick, like you're not gonna run on this team, and they made that very apparent yesterday. Like they could not get J.K. Dobbins going 15 carries, 44 yards for 22.9 yards a carry. Quentin Johnson, he had that 1 touchdown on the busted coverage, but it's just like the Steelers defense is for real, man. Like I keep saying it week in, week out. Like they probably, to me, they look like the best defense in the league right now, I think.
Yeah. And on the flip side for Dobbins, not a great outing, but he's clearly taken over that backfield.
Oh yeah, not even a question.
15 carries. Next up was Gus with 3.
Yeah.
So if you were a Dobbins truther, that's awesome. Like I wish I would have gotten more shares of him. In hindsight, obviously, and I just started to believe that he was the truth like 2 weeks before the season, and bummed I didn't get more. But we're back to the Arthur Smith running back rotation with Cordero Patterson 4 for 33 and Jalen Warren 3 for 5.
Yeah, I can't trust it anymore. It sucks, but it's obvious that they're gonna run the wheels off Najee, and whoever sprinkles in after that is gonna get sprinkled in. But it sucks to be a Jalen Warren holder right now because I think he is the better back.
Yeah, Calvin Austin, we've been kind of wanting to see for the last couple of years. Like we know that he's like a speedster. We've been wanting to see him emerge. He had a game, 4 receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep.
So that's someone who will probably be on the waiver wire, I would imagine, and quite a bit. We'll talk about him in just a few. Did Justin Herbert get hurt in this game?
Yeah, he did. I think he ended up actually leaving the game. Yeah. It was something with like that ankle sprain still came out of the game. He did not look right even to start the game. He couldn't really move much, and when they were bringing pressure, he just threw the ball away like instantly. He did not want to get hit, and then when he finally did, he went out. So I think they were just trying to start him. It's probably just him being competitive, wanting to play, but he's going to probably need time.
Man, maybe upset of the week. Broncos dominate the Buccaneers 26-7 in Tampa.
Yeah, Bo Nix played really well.
25-36, 216 yards. Let's look a little bit deeper here. Baker, 25-33, 163 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Bucky Irving led the backfield, 9 carries, 70 yards, solid. Did he get involved in any receiving? Rachaad White doing his Rachaad White things in 5 receptions, 18 yards. He is a great pass catcher. He's just not a great runner, but Bucky Irving got involved too. 3 receptions for 14 yards. Chris Godwin got another touchdown, 6 receptions, 53 yards and a touch. So who was dominant on was it just the running game? Yeah, Jaleel got in for a touchdown. Bo Nix had a rushing touchdown. Bo Nix, 9 carries for 47 yards. And then this Tyler Batty, I think it's Beatty. Tyler Batty. He was a practice squad guy, and he came in and he looked better than all the running backs. 9 carries, 70 yards. I know one of those was a 43-yard run. But yeah, it's just going to make this backfield even more confusing once Audric Estime comes off IR. But Javonte Williams, 5 carries, 12 yards. It's not looking good for Javonte Williams.
No, and I think this game right here to me just proved even more how good the Broncos defense is. I mean, I think it's Dondrea Tillman, like that guy is a monster. Number 92, he had 2 sacks, three solo tackles. I mean, let's see, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks on Baker in that game. So like
Wow.
the Broncos, they bring it, man. Like one of my favorite things about Sean Payton's like defensive style when he comes to teams is the corner blitz is always an option with him, and they brought the corner blitz so many times on Baker and he never saw it coming, and it looks awesome. I think the Broncos defense is really going to keep them in it all year. I don't know if they'll be insanely good this year, but I think their defense is going to win them some games, and all Bo Nix has to do is be mediocre. He doesn't have to be insane this year. If he can just get the ball out and score some points, I think they'll win games. So I think their defense is that good.
Yeah, man, this is what's fun about like the early, the first few weeks of the NFL is like you start to think that the identity of teams after like week 2. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you if you're honest with yourself, you start to get an idea of like, I thought that Patriots Jets game was going to be a little bit closer. I didn't expect, things to just all of a sudden start clicking. And then we count out the Broncos. I was pretty much just like, okay, this is just like a total rebuild year. I don't think that they're going to be like a contender or like they'll be lucky to even make playoffs, but what a solid outing. Tampa Bay's been on fire as well, and to hold them to 7, like that's even more impressive in my opinion than the Vikings holding the Texans, because we know the Vikings are good, but this was like a true upset. Very, very impressive. Cade Otton got involved, 7 receptions, 47 yards for Tampa Bay. That just is a testament to them locking up Mike Evans. Gosh, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 17 yards. But Chris Godwin, Chris Godwin is kind of looking like he could be like bounce back player of the year.
Yeah.
He's been great all year so far. Okay, so Javonte Williams had a fumble lost as well. So I didn't catch much of this game, but
Javonte is just not looking great, man. I mean, it was pretty disheartening to see. Like every carry he had just looked very Rashad White-ish, where it's like he's fighting for every yard he can. Then he fumbles the ball, and then you got Tyler Batty just going off. So it was like, yikes, that's a committee right there. I would not want to have a piece of that running game right now. Honestly, I'd rather have the Tyler kid than anyone, because he looks like he could take over the job, but it looks like a true committee over there. But Bo Nix, man,
absolutely,
9 rush attempts for 47 yards and a running touchdown. Like the dude's doing it all because he has to.
Yeah, good for him. It's exciting to see. We don't really want teams in the NFL for fantasy and just for the competitive aspect of watching football. We don't want any teams that are just complete bust rebuild. That's not fun. So it's good to see them get a dub. And Tyler actually was, after the game, reverted back to the practice squad, but you got to wonder how long they go without just, I mean, I know, like half of that was that one big, run that he broke out for 43 yards, but they need juice right now. And Sean Payton, he doesn't seem like the type to continue to give guys chances. If this not that Javonte Williams has had ball security issues, but I'm not surprised that they brought in Beatty. I don't know if it was around that time, but yeah. Anything else to cover here? Cortland Sutton, 7 receptions, 68 yards.
Yep.
Little Jordan Humphrey, 6 receptions, 37 yards. It looks like Bo Nix was really moving the ball around.
Yeah.
He hit quite a bit of receivers there. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, so now this game, Panthers versus Raiders. We talked about this on our show, and we were saying, as soon as we got news that Bryce Young was getting benched, we talked about Dalton. He's going to bring alive all of the fantasy options that we have on the receivers, and he did just that. And we talked about how Dalton is someone who's already had his situation where he was a bona fide starter earlier in his career. He was a name, and now he's a backup who doesn't have to get out there and try to win a job to have his career. It's like he can play fearlessly, and he went out there, and all of a sudden, this Panthers offense right out of the gates. I mean, his first half, Dalton had 220 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. They were doing everything. They looked so good. Ended up going 26 of 37, 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that opened up Chuba Hubbard, 21 carries, 114 yards. Deontay looked like vintage Deontay, 8 receptions, 122 yards and a touchdown. Super exciting. Like that was awesome. I watched that whole game because I'm out here in North Carolina, and a lot of the family I'm with are actually up from New Jersey, and they're Eagles fans, but they also, some of them are Carolina fans just because of the local team. But man, very, very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, they play the Bengals next week, so I'm like contemplating flexing Deontay Johnson. Like, I got Deontay Johnson; he looked amazing with Andy Dalton throwing the ball to him in the Bengals.
14 targets, bro.
Yeah,
he's clearly the one. I would play him. And can you imagine if the Bengals go 0-4 by losing to the Panthers?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bengals fans all over just start crying thinking about that.
Yeah, man. Chuba Hubbard, 5 receptions, 55 yards and a touchdown. He had a monster game.
Yeah.
Xavier Legette, not like a ton of volume, but it was nice to just see Dalton hitting him when he's open.
Yep.
And then now we got Adam Thielen, who, 3 receptions, 40 yards and a touchdown, but is on IR now because of that injury in the end zone.
Yep.
So Xavier Legette, he should definitely be seeing more snaps. That was a great game.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, dang, dude, Dalton, let's go, bro. All right. Moving on. We got Dolphins Seahawks. Man, what a train wreck is happening in Miami. This one is just hard to watch. Like, Mike McDaniel, like, what is going on, bro? I know you don't have Tua. I don't know why Skylar Thompson was even starting this game.
Yeah.
Personally. 13 of 19, 107 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and then leaves the game with injury. And then they bring in Tim Boyle. Like, am I wrong? Didn't Tyler Huntley sign with them? Or was that just like a fake rumor?
No, he signed with them, but I don't know if he was able to start this week, like, technically, but next week we'll probably see him. But it was weird. I don't think Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle necessarily played horrible games. They didn't make any horrible turnovers or anything like that. Obviously, they're not the arm talent of Tua. It's, that's clear, but this offense just looks flat right now. Like, they don't, when you lose a player like that, you got to use your imagination and get some guys in space, but it's like they're not doing anything that looks good. Like, their run game looks flat. Their receivers aren't doing anything to help these quarterbacks. Like, Tyreek Hill, 3 receptions for 40 yards. Like, you got to help these guys. You got to stop running all the way down the field, and you got to start doing some short yardage stuff and help these guys just get completions. It's like they're going for these massive plays still. Like, every time I was watching, like, these guys are trying to air the ball down the field like 50 yards, and it's like they got to help them out more. They got to get their playmakers in space. They got to get Tyreek out in space. Devon Achane did have 3 receptions for 28 yards, but it just looks so like, it's like you're not this team right now anymore. You can't do these things without Tua, so I don't know why they're trying to, but it just looks weird.
I mean, I didn't see any creativity though. Like no pre-snap motion. I mean, Tyreek Hill, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Where are the end arounds? Like, where, like, why aren't we seeing Tyreek Hill get some rush attempts or something? Like, where it just does not look like the same play caller. It's like, are they tanking at this point to try to get a quarterback next year? Like, I don't know, but it just doesn't look like they're like trying. The creativity is just out the window. And actually, Skylar Thompson did have 2 fumbles. They were able to recover both of those, but I don't understand it. We'll keep checking in, but on the opposite side of the ball, the Seahawks looked really good. Geno, 26 of 34, 289 yards and a touchdown, 2 interceptions. But Zach Charbonnet finally had his breakout on the ground. 18 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. And as a Charbonnet owner, I'm so excited, but it's just always a bummer that they've got 2 backs this good, because we don't know how long he's going to have the starting job. Kenneth Walker, we'll see, but it sounds like he's like not far from being able to play again.
DK Metcalf, my Lord, 4 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown, 26 yards a catch. The dude is just such a monster. Like,
yeah, man,
the freaking DK Metcalf and like Megatron, like comparison just looks so true every time you see him. It's like he's being underutilized, like I think this year, like severely. He's just such a dominant player. I don't know how he's not getting 12, 15 targets a game. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and on that touchdown that he caught, like it was wild because he caught it with like 40 yards to go before he hit the end zone, and you could just see him. It was crazy the distance he was continuing to get with his speed after the catch.
Yeah,
like just burning these guys.
We all saw him chase down Buda Baker that one time. I mean, the dude has got insane speed for his size. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, Charbonnet got 3 receptions for 16 yards as well. Good for PPR, obviously. Jackson Smith-Njigba did not get as many targets as we were hoping. Tyler Lockett was healthy again. Tyler Lockett led the team in targets. It's like, I don't think Tyler Lockett's bad. I know he's talented. It's just a bummer as a Jackson Smith-Njigba owner. I just really want JSN to emerge, and we could see more of this. This could be how things go, because Lockett is actually playing pretty decent.
Yeah, that was my fear coming into the year with JSN. It was like, it seemed like everyone was writing off Tyler Lockett. I'm like, the dude has been a dominant Pro Bowl player every year of his career. I don't think he's just going to go away. It's not like a Keenan Allen situation where the dude's like always injured, but I've always loved Tyler Lockett. I think he's insanely talented.
Yeah, he definitely is. And we'll see. Again, it's only week 3.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they open things up. Even if Lockett stays healthy, we'll see how this wide receiver core emerges. We obviously know Metcalf is the one.
Right.
But yeah. All right. And then we got Ravens versus Cowboys. Ravens dominate most of the game, 28-25. I'm surprised the Cowboys were able to get it this close, especially first successful onside kick of the year.
Yep.
Very impressive. But yeah, my gosh, it did not look like this game was going to be that close. And you were talking a little bit, I didn't catch the drama, but you were talking about the drama between Dak and CD.
Yeah, they were going at each other a little bit. I was talking to one of our relatives the other day, and I was telling him that I expected the Cowboys to lose this game. I was like, the Ravens just can't go 0-3. There's no way they're going to let that happen. I was like, Lamar is going to do everything he possibly has to win this game if it comes down to him winning it. But that's why I started Dak Prescott this week. I have Dak and Lamar. Those are my 2 quarterbacks. So I was like, I'm going to start Dak. I know they're going to be behind, and I know Dak's going to have to throw for, I was like 40 plus attempts, and I think he went for 51. But like I think, midway through the game, tensions are getting high, and CD starts barking in Dak's ear about wanting more targets, but it looked like Dak said something along the lines of like, you should have practiced more or something like that. And I think that's true. I mean,
it is true.
You can't not show up to practice for the whole summer camp and all of, OTAs and stuff like that, and then expect to just be in the situation where you're getting, 13 to 16 targets again. Like, you guys have to build up the timing. You have to, Dak gets used to throwing to Tolbert and Cavante and all these other guys, and then you just come back and expect the timing to be locked in again. It's like, no, you took that time away from your quarterback being a diva over the contract. So this is kind of, you reap what you sow here. I think Jerry Jones should have signed the contract earlier. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the money. I completely agree with the contract, but these are the growing pains, man. You got to kind of just deal with it right now. But they do need to target him more, obviously. I'm a CD owner, so I would obviously love to see that as well. But it's like, it's just figuring it out right now. Our backfield sucks. We have to go to the passing game. You're fumbling the ball. He had a fumble. So it's like, there's, again, practice ball security. That's the number one thing you practice when you practice is ball security. So it's like, it's just a little messy with him right now. He needs to just kind of like take a chill pill and understand the growing pains of coming through the season. But all things aside, I think they did good rallying back. I mean, Dak Prescott had 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 2 carries for 7 yards, but a rushing touchdown as well. He went 28 for 51, so he could have definitely had better accuracy. But that's a tough defense, man. The Ravens defense really strapped up and played a really good game. They needed this win way more than the Cowboys did. I think the Cowboys will be fine. We went through the same thing last year early on, where it was like, we kind of struggled to find the air yards, but it'll come back around for us. But I was kind of happy to see the Ravens get this win, because I'm like, okay, now it makes the league a little bit more interesting. The Ravens are back. They're not 0-3. They're 1-2 now. So it's just better all around for the league, I think. As a Cowboys fan, obviously, I'm a little sad, but I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't panic on the Cowboys for fantasy.
They'll figure it out.
I wouldn't be surprised if next week or week 5 they like you were saying, this is the same thing last year.
Yeah.
It does look like
we play the Giants on Thursday, so we should rally back next week. I pray to God.
Yeah. Does look like Rico Dowdle is continuing to emerge as the lead back.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to just see more of this moving forward, but there wasn't a whole lot of rushing in this game, but 8 carries, 32 yards, 4 yards a carry for him. I think he got involved a little bit in the passing game. Yeah, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 24 yards. Jake Ferguson, just bounced right back, 11 targets, 6 receptions, 95 yards. Things are looking up for the Cowboys, for sure.
For sure.
And then, we were talking about it earlier too. I think Jalen Tolbert is definitely going to end up getting that wide receiver 2 spot locked down, because he looks good in my opinion. Like, you've been on him for a long time, and it does look like he looks good when he's on the field. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep.
So yeah. And then, but what's interesting to me is, like, my gosh, Lamar Jackson had 15 pass attempts.
Yeah.
It's like he was running the ball. Like, it was just like all running. He had 14 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown.
That's
Derrick
so
Henry. Yeah. Derrick Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Obviously, when they got the lead up, they were just going to keep trying to run the clock. But for fantasy, the pass catchers for the Ravens, it could be dicey, like, all year. Like, this is going to be a very run heavy team. Zay Flowers, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 20 yards.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 28 yards. Nelson Aguilar, 1 target, 1 reception, 56 yards. But I don't know. I faded most pass catching options. You've got,
what was Harbaugh saying about them not bringing Derrick Henry in to be an 18+ carry running back?
Yeah.
I'm like, where's all that, man? Quick. Why do you got to do it against my team? The dude came in and just looked vintage Derrick Henry, stiff arming people, throwing people into their grave. Like, he's just the most dominant running back I've ever seen when it comes to, if he gets out in space, you're not getting him down. It's like, it's absolutely insane.
As far as tight ends go, you have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely combining for 2 targets, 1 reception, and 4 yards.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm about to package deal those boys and send them out together.
It's just one game. But yeah, I just think in general, we don't really know. This is not going to be a pass-heavy team.
Enjoy sports betting and daily fantasy? Well, Daily Grind is here to help you beat the books. They make premium DFS tools that do all the work for you, comparing lines across just about every platform, looking for discrepancies for you to take advantage of. Start off your research with their DFS Optimizer, a tool that finds all the best plays and rates them with their odds to hit indicator. Or if you'd rather have them make your entire slip for you, they have you covered with their AI slip generator. They'll even notify you when a new slip is available. Go to dgfantasy.com and use code BACKDOOR. They will give you 25% off your first subscription all the way up to a year if you want. That's dgfantasy.com, code BACKDOOR.
All right. Next up, we got 49ers versus Rams. What a comeback for the Rams. 14-0, the first quarter. 49ers are up. I was really impressed. I was talking trash about that over-under. I thought the 49ers were going to dominate this game, and they found a way. Even with Brock Purdy having a great game, a really solid outing. 22 of 30 for 292 and 3 touchdowns. Freaking Kyren Williams. There's no worry about job security there. 24 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, he looks really good. That's, he does. I kind of called this one the other day. Someone next to me thought I was crazy, but I said that.
Yeah, you did call it they would win.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. No way.
I just, I also had a feeling that I thought Tutu Atwell would be the guy on the team. I just think he has the most rapport with Stafford at this point. Like, him and Stafford had a good connection at one point. Before like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua before Puka Nacua really arrived and Cooper Kupp was still hurt last year, Tutu Atwell looked really, really good, and he's really, really fast. So it just helps. Matthew Stafford is just so good at spreading the ball out, but they wouldn't have won this game without Kyren Williams. I mean, Kyren Williams played amazing. 24 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, he's caught 2 passes for 27 yards and another receiving touchdown, but they were really able to control the clock, but the defense really stepped up hardcore for him. Another huge sack coming from a corner blitz. They caught Brock Purdy slipping, and that was a huge turning point in the game. And the defense just stepped up, and then the Rams were able to control the clock and really get down the field fast. But that's what I don't think there's anyone better in the league right now at the 2-minute drill than Matthew Stafford. If you give him 2 minutes and he has to get up the field, he'll do it. I mean, we've seen Kirk Cousins do it against Philly, but that's what Stafford is like the best at. Is like, okay, time's ticking. I'm going to get my offense up the field and at least get a field goal here. So to see him kind of turn it around and, really clutch up in that game was really awesome. And the San Francisco 49ers, it's like they're obviously really banged up. Juwan Jennings, 11 receptions for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. Holy crap. Like
on 12 targets.
Yeah.
11 of those.
It is. I've been saying
that dude looks really good.
Yeah. I've been saying for a long time that I think Juwan Jennings is highly underrated and underused. That is the type of usage that Juwan Jennings could see every week, and I think he would produce every week. Not like obviously to this degree, but the dude is just, he looks so good. His route running is so crisp. He's so fast. He's got great hands. So I'm excited to see what they do with Juwan Jennings from now on, because man, I was like, my Brandon Ayuk stock is not looking great right now, because it just seems like everyone else on the team is eating except him. But he's another one that did not practice. So
yeah, we're seeing it. Everybody who held out is getting a slow start, which is expected, but it seems like emphasized this year. Because he had 10 targets, 5 receptions, 48 yards. As far as the Rams go, yeah, like Tutu Atwell broke out that 50-yarder, but he still only had 5 targets. Like, I'm not saying don't have him, but I think that they don't have a definitive one. And I think that this is just going to be spreading the ball around, and based on game plan, he's definitely the fastest.
Yeah.
Him and Colby Parkinson both had 5 targets. Then you got Demarcus Robinson, 4 targets, Tyler Johnson, 4 targets. So I think that it is going to be the Kyren show. We'll just see how that works. I was still skeptical about the teams being able to just stack the box, but 24 carries for 89 yards. They were definitely stacking the box, but like they found a way to get it done. 2 targets, 2 receptions for Kyren, 27 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
Just looked like vintage Kyren out there. But what's really impressive to me is the opposite happened. The 49ers definitely slowed Kyren down. 3.7 yards is like per carry is like not bad, especially that's going to be down a little bit when you have 24 attempts. But
Right.
on the opposite side, the Rams defense, Jordan Mason, 19 carries, 77 yards. Like that's not bad, but Jordan Mason did not have the day that we were expecting. No touchdowns. I don't think he caught any. 2 receptions, 11 yards. So yeah, I mean, obviously Juwan Jennings is definitely the story of the day. The dude is super physical too. Like that one catch, did you see the catch where he had to jump over the defender and reach over him
Yeah,
to get it? I
it's
was just like,
crazy.
dude, this guy is such a freak. Like, he definitely underrated.
Yeah.
Debo, I think they're talking like he'll be back next week. Maybe Kittle might be back next week. So this target share is not going to continue.
No, sadly, because I would love to see him do it every week, but it's clear
but
to win games you need Debo and Kittle back. I mean,
yeah, and without Debo in there, I think Ayuk still did get 10 targets. I think it's a little bit of everything. Obviously, I would imagine that they probably focused a lot on Ayuk, so maybe those weren't as clean of targets. But Jennings was just able to eat. But I think this is going to turn into, if anything, maybe Juwan is pushing into Ayuk's snaps a little bit once Debo and Kittle are back. Unless Ayuk just turns things up, which if they've got this team healthy, Ayuk should be open a little bit more often too when you have Debo and Kittle to worry about out there. But I can't believe they came back and won this game. That was just super impressive. Brock Purdy breaking out for 10 rush attempts, 10 carries for 41 yards. And it's unfortunate because Brock had a solid game, man. But yeah, I can't believe the Rams came back and did it. All right, what else we got here? Almost done with the recap. Took a little bit longer today. It's because I've been at the beach and I'm just like pretty fatigued and beat up. But all right. Well, the Lions had the perfect game plan for my Cardinals, beating them at home. Absolutely took James Conner out of the equation. Like, Cardinals could not get that figured out. Started pretty decent, Kyler Murray caught Marvin Harrison Jr. for a touchdown right out of the gates. And I was like, all of a sudden my hopes were high. I'm like, this is going to be close. And I was, it was super biased, but I was calling the Cardinals to win this thing. But this was supposed to be a super fireworks type game too. This had the highest over under of the week, 51.5. And they end up going for 33 total. Cardinals did better on defense than I was expecting, even just keeping it, within a touchdown here. Jared Goff, 18 of 23 for 199 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Kyler, 21 of 34, 207 yards, a touchdown and an interception. So really similar. Very similar outing for both of those guys. Kyler Murray, 5 carries, 45 yards. James Conner, 9 carries, 17 yards. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson, though, it's like Marvin Harrison Jr. had 11 targets, 5 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Michael Wilson, who I've been high on for a while, because last year we got to see, like, he's going to be a solid wide receiver too. The Cardinals are continuing to figure things out, but he got 9 targets in this game, 8 receptions, 64 yards. I like the future there. And then we also have Trey McBride getting hurt. 6 targets, 3 receptions, 25 yards. Trey McBride ended up getting a concussion, had to leave the game. Another player we're hoping can clear the concussion protocol by Saturday so he can actually play Sunday. But you just never know. James Conner, 1 reception, 8 yards, just wild. Full PPR, James Conner went for like 3 points in fantasy. So hats off to the Lions defense. And then you got Montgomery, 23 carries, 105 yards and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 16 carries, 83 yards. It just beat him up on the ground.
Yeah, Gibbs looks really good.
Yeah, he does. So does Montgomery.
Yeah.
Their run game in general just looks like the 1-2 punch, probably the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I missed it. I watched this game. Did Jameson Williams get hurt or something?
I don't know.
I know Sam Laporta did.
I was watching Red Zone, so I was kind of in and out of all these games, so it was kind of hard for me, and I was like a little busy on Sunday, so it was a little hard for me to pick up on everything going on. So I'm not positive he went out on that game. I did see that Amon-Ra St. Brown did really. I do know that Sam Laporta got hurt. I did see that he got carted off, tried to come back, played one snap, had to walk. He limped back off. He looked really, really banged up. So, but Brock Wright came in and he looked pretty solid. So if you need a backup tight end to Laporta, Brock Wright looks pretty solid.
Yeah, he'll definitely be on the waiver wire for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jameson Williams, this was really surprising to me. 3 targets, 1 reception, 9 yards. Just really, 1 carry for -7 yards. Just didn't see that coming. It did seem like the type of like game plan though that was just like run the ball a ton, short yardage passing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 targets, 7 receptions for 75, just averaging about 10.7 per catch, and then grabbed a touchdown. So yeah, my Cardinals have some stuff to figure out, and the Lions look good. They went and got another win on the road to go to 2-1.
Yep.
And then we've got the Chiefs Falcons. This was a very I really enjoyed this game. I thought the Falcons were going to get it done. Falcons look like they're figuring it out. They're figuring things out, looking pretty solid.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins, 20 of 29. Let me see here. 20 of 29, 230 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Bijan, 16. Oh, rough day. 16 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. And then you got Tyler Algier, 7 carries for 32 yards.
Yep.
Drake London got in the end zone again. It's crazy. Like that's that play. That's a pretty clever play. I don't know exactly how it all goes down, but essentially like it gets Drake London absolutely wide open. Like the defenders just don't stay on him.
Yeah. They look really good. I mean, the Chiefs again got saved by another missed pass interference call in that game. It was pretty blatant, obvious pass interference in the end zone. So the Falcons ended up losing that game. So it was a really good game though. I mean, I think the Falcons look really good. I think they'll definitely sneak into the playoffs. They've had a really, really tough schedule when you really look at it. They had to play the Steelers, who I think, like I said, have the best defense in the league. Then they went and beat the Eagles in that really close game, and then they had to play the Chiefs. They have to play the Saints, then the Bucks. So they've got a really, really tough start to their season, and it doesn't get much easier for them. I mean, they get the Panthers, but then they have to play the Cowboys and the Bucks again. So it's going to be a rough road for them. Hopefully they can find a way to sneak in. I would like to see, just what that team's got in like the playoff type situation. I think Kirk Cousins is really clutch. So we'll just see.
Yeah. Drake London, you got to be happy with the targets though. 9 targets, 6 receptions, 67 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney, definitely increased role week after week, 8 targets, 8 receptions, 66 yards. The dude, Darnell Mooney, the dude plays physical. He's not the biggest dude. He's very fast, but he's like deceiving. Definitely plays very physical. Then you got Rashee Rice just eating up all the targets, 14 targets, 12 receptions, 110 yards and a touchdown. No one else really did much as far as pass catchers go. Let's see. Carson Steele ate up the majority of the backfield like we had projected. 17 carries, 72 yards. Samaje Perine, 6 carries, 25 yards. Both of those guys, 4.2 yards per carry, so pretty solid.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. I thought Perine was going to get the bulk of the work, but Carson Steele looks really solid. Yeah,
the dude has a lot of power. He's perfect for the way they were using him. He's not really a pass catcher. He had 2 targets, 1 reception, 2 yards.
Yeah.
And let's see, did they get P. Ryan, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 15 yards. But I still want to see what happens with Kareem Hunt, because I'm not. I mean, maybe the juice is gone, but if it's not, if he can if he can be in like a Aaron Jones type form, I think that he is the only one on the team that could evolve into a do-it-all type running back that is more like Pacheco, because he's great pass catcher. So we'll see. I'm still curious to see how that's going to play out once they if they start involving him. So we'll see. He just got there. So all right, let's move on. Again, the internet's a little bit slower here. All right. So Bills Jags 47-10. This game was over from the start.
It really was.
Trevor Lawrence looks really rough. He looks like he took a step back this year.
I want to read you this because I seen this the other day. This is a really interesting stat line here. I actually saved this because I was like, okay, wow. So Bryce Young's first 18 starts in the NFL, 2-16 is his win-loss ratio, 11 touchdowns for 13 interceptions, 59.3% completion rate. Trevor Lawrence's first 18 starts, 3-15, 13 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 59.9 completion percentage. So I know there was a lot of drama at Lawrence's first year with the whole coaching saga, but the dude's not performing at a high level. He's really not. I mean, he had a middle of the road rated offensive line last year with a really good running back. This year he's got a really good backfield. They're just, Christian Kirk still performs well, but it's like, he's not winning games. You can't put this all on him because the Jaguars defense fell over on their face before the game even started. But it's like, dude, you had one of the top rated defenses in your rookie year. And it's like, the dude has never really looked like a true winner yet. So he's lost a lot of really close games, but something's got to give or it's going to look rough for him soon.
Some of these decisions were like really hard to watch too.
Yeah.
Like where he's like, I saw that there was one play where like he's up in the pocket and then they break through a little bit. And then he like does this like jump 360 type thing and tries to like, and ends up getting sacked. I don't even know how many times he got sacked in that game, but okay. So looks like 4 times.
Yeah.
A 19.8 quarterback rating. Pretty rough.
Now I did see Christian Kirk drop the touchdown. It hit him in the chest or the face mask. Like, you got to catch that ball. It was a perfectly placed ball right on his face, and he dropped it in the end zone. Wouldn't have mattered much, but stuff like that does hurt when you look at it. It's like, okay, he would have had 2 touchdowns, and that was a pretty big play. So he probably would have been over 200 yards for 2 touchdowns. So it wouldn't have looked as bad on paper if those guys caught the drops and stuff. But he did spread the ball around a lot. I mean, he hit 9 different receivers in this game, but it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's because Brian Thomas Jr. and Christian Kirk are a really good 1-2. So you got to figure something out eventually, whether if it's coaching again. I don't think so. I think, what's his name? Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's a perfectly capable coach. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl winner. You see flashes from them with the run game where it's like, okay, this looks just like Philly did when they won the Super Bowl with Travis Etienne and Bigsby. It's like they really get it going, but you got to help them out a little bit. But the defense does look really bad for the Jags, so that really hurts.
Yeah, in this game, I mean, they look like, I mean, their defense on paper is like seems decent, but nothing super special, but definitely not like terrible. Just for fantasy purposes though, as a Brian Thomas Jr. owner in Dynasty, I'm pretty excited to see 9 targets, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Didn't turn into a big game, but I love seeing him out there for the majority of snaps and getting targeted. This was just like they got punched in the mouth like right out of the gates.
The game was dead before it started. Even Doug Peterson at halftime, he was like, I told the guys, just go out here and try to score. He's like, there's nothing we can do at this point. The game is lost. He's like, so just go out there and try to score the ball. And so that's what they did. I mean, when you're down 30 at halftime, you got to pull off a historical comeback at that point. So I don't.
Yeah, Josh Allen had a monster game.
Yeah, 4 passing touchdowns or something.
Yeah, 4 passing touchdowns. Did he get one on the ground? No, he didn't. So yeah, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns. It looked even crazier than that, but he didn't play the fourth quarter. So
yeah,
pretty wild. And then yeah, he had 4 different pass catchers for a touchdown on that as well. So Bills look really solid, and obviously the Jaguars look really rough right now, 0-3. And then wow, what a performance from the Commanders. Jaden Daniels with his breakout game.
yep.
You know, we were kind of speculating how this was looking and whether or not it was like, is this going to be, because it's a dramatic difference from week 1 to week 3 at this point for Jaden Daniels and just the Washington offense in general. But it does now, that last game seems like it kind of confirms that Cliff Kingsbury is just bringing along his rookie a little bit more each week, opening up the playbook more each week. But Jaden Daniels had pretty much a perfect game, 21 of 23 for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 12 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Like what a performance to go do that in Cincinnati when they're desperate for a win.
Yeah.
To send them to 0-3, very impressive.
I think my favorite part about his performance is just his confidence. Like he's just so calm. Like it's like he's been doing it for a long time. Like it looks like a veteran. Like to in a crazy hectic situation to be getting that the crowd as loud as they were, to read at the line of scrimmage when you're in the red zone and pull that ball and get the easy touchdown on your feet and just jog in confidently. I was like, this kid's gonna be really, really good. Like you can't teach that kind of confidence. And the way he was playing, the way he was rushing the coaches to give him a play in the clutch so he could run them down the field and get a touchdown, like the dude looked amazing. That was just a really fun performance.
And that touchdown on like 3rd and long.
Yeah. Oh my God, McLaurin.
To turn McLaurin at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that was unbelievable. And he dropped that, like he placed that ball perfectly. And then McLaurin just like pulls down this contested catch when they were trying to, hold them to a field goal at the end.
Yeah.
That was just very impressive. Makes me pretty excited for the Commanders moving forward. Now, again, this isn't like we think they're a contender or anything, but and then also on the opposite side of things, Chase Brown got a lot more usage this week. Zach Moss, 12 carries, 58 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Chase Brown, 7 carries, 62 yards. And they were both involved in the passing game. Zach Moss, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 39 yards. And then where's Chase? 3 targets, 2 receptions, 7. So yeah, I mean, like at the start of that game, we were kind of thinking, like, when Chase got that touchdown so early, I didn't think the Commanders were going to win this game. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But someone we've talked about for a while now is Andre Yoshivas. He looks good. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 52 yards and a touchdown. He looked better than T. Higgins to me. Like it was the type of thing where we were high on him because we thought like, okay, he's emerged as the top guy to fill in for Tyler Boyd. But then you have T. Higgins missing some games. And if you watch Andre, that he looks like a good receiver. So if he's available on waivers, you definitely got to go get him. And I wish I was able to get him. I got outbid for him in Dynasty. But I think that the future looks bright for this kid because T. Higgins is most likely going to be gone after this year. And he's going to be solid, man. He's a very talented, pretty big dude. I think he's like 6'1", but runs clean routes. And he's athletic. Like he kind of went under the radar in the off season. And then during training camp, he was just emerging. And then you even had Joe Burrow during training camp saying like, this is going to be a breakout year for Andre.
Yeah.
So yeah, my gosh, I'm going to be watching that Panthers game close next week though, because I hate to say it, but I would just love to see them go to 0-4. Sorry if you're a Bengals fan, but I'd love to see an upset like that. All right, that covers the whole slate. Let's talk a little bit about what's trending on the waiver wire, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Obviously, no shocker, Juwan Jennings is at the top of the waiver wire ads, if he's available, definitely go get him.
Yeah.
Be a little bit cautious though. Like this is not for me a fab dump type situation because Debo will be back soon. Kittle will be back soon.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be every week that he's going to be playing without Kittle and Debo, but he definitely, I think he earned more playing time with that performance because it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, number 2 on trending right now. Yeah, if you need a tight end, this is another one that it's kind of like, this, we don't know that it's going to be this every week, you know?
Yeah.
81% of snaps, 11 targets, 10 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. But it's not going to be the type of thing where every week Caleb is throwing the ball, you know, as many times as he did and going for like 369 yards.
Yeah, I think in a tight end market like we're in right now, where like there's not a lot of tight ends performing really, really well, I think he's definitely a startable tight end though, like for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need a tight end, yeah, definitely go swing for him. Darnell Mooney is number 3. And some of this is like, you know, obviously these guys are all below, like even 47, these top 3 are below 47% rostered. So they are going to be available. So that's going to mess with the trending a little bit. But yeah, Darnell Mooney's solid. Like he'll be like a week in, week out flex with upside. Emmanuel Wilson, 6% rostered. He should definitely be more rostered than that, especially because if Josh Jacobs goes out, this kid's going to get heavy usage.
You should at least have your handcuff there.
Yeah. And even if you're just, you have a deeper bench and you want someone who has that upside, like we always talk about, where he would be the clear cut guy if Jacobs were to miss any time. Yeah. Andre Yosavash, we talked about him. Roshan Johnson, definitely worth rostering because this is a situation where he could become the one.
Yeah.
And I think he's the best back on the team personally, definitely the best pass catcher. And, you know, he's a physical dude. He's not like super fast, but he had a pretty solid outing with his opportunities, and they need someone to get something going in the run game. Only played 37% of snaps, which is a huge upgrade for what he's been doing. You know, he was a DMP for 2 games straight. So comes in 37% of snaps, 8 carries for 30 yards, 5 targets, 4 receptions, and 32 yards. I'm definitely happy to have him on Dynasty. I think he should be on rosters, but you're obviously not going to spend a ton because that's like a situation where he has a path to earn it himself. But also if anyone goes down, he'll get heavy usage.
Right.
Brock Wright's trending at the 8th spot. 0% rostered. Yeah, he's definitely available out there. Yeah. Let's see if we have any updates on Sam Laporta real fast. Dealing with low ankle sprain. Tests on Monday confirm he's dealing with a low ankle sprain, of which he suffered during the game. Okay. This is better news than what could have been. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the jury's out on how Laporta is doing. Other than like we know it's a low ankle sprain, but so yeah, I'm not gonna rush to go get Brock Wright because if Laporta is good, like Brock's not gonna get that much usage.
Yeah.
Little Jordan Humphreys, 74% of snaps. That's solid. 8 targets, 6 receptions, 37 yards. Again, not a break the bank, but yeah, if you're desperate at wide receiver, worth rostering. Probably, I mean, I need to see more personally, like before I would consider putting him on my Dynasty roster or anything like that.
Yeah.
Wow, Deontay Johnson is 73% rostered. He should be way up in the 90s.
Yeah.
So if for some reason he's available in your league, go get Deontay.
Well, now it's saying for me that he's 96%. So.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to let me refresh mine.
That is crazy that he was that though before his game yesterday, because I mean the writing was on the wall even with Bryce. 6 targets a game with Bryce. Then we get to up to 14 with Andy Dalton. Bryce just was not cutting it, obviously, but I think Andy Dalton. I mean, you got a clear cut number 1 now. With Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because I wasn't on the Dynasty. So for redraft, it looks like Deontay. Yeah, he's at 96 in Dynasty. For redraft, he's at 74%.
Okay.
So for redraft, go grab him.
Yeah, definitely.
Jalen Naylor, like we said, like just a solid week in, week out flex option. We'll have to see how that plays out once Jordan Addison is back, good to go. Calvin Austin, I think that's a great pickup for Dynasty.
Yeah.
Personally, 54% of snaps, 5 targets, 4 receptions. And this offense is not built to just turn him into a stud, especially when you have George Pickens there. But definitely worth rostering because he's a big play type guy. So you might not need heavy targets and receptions for him to deliver for you, but it'll be spiky, All right. Zach Ertz, solid, solid flex or solid tight end. Yeah, we'll see. Like right now, I think Ertz is kind of in that same realm as I would say he's going to be even more consistent than Cole Kmet, but that it could be totally wrong about that. But from the looks of things, like knowing Shane Waldron, I don't know that we won't see. I don't think that Everett is just going to go away.
Yeah.
And you'd like him to. Cole Kmet should be getting the majority, but I'm not totally convinced that we're going to see that every week just yet. Sam Darnold, yeah, solid backup quarterback if you're desperate, solid starting quarterback for you. Braylon Allen, definitely someone that you should go get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for Dynasty, but he is 93% rostered in Dynasty. But yeah, redraft, Braylon Allen is every week flex. And if anything happens to Brees, this dude is going to be a locked in RB1 for you, in my opinion.
Yep.
At worst, high end RB2. Yeah, Tutu Atwell, it's going to be kind of like the Calvin Austin thing, in my opinion. I don't see him being a heavily targeted. I don't think anyone's going to be heavily targeted until Puka is back, or maybe Cooper Kupp. Maybe Cooper Kupp will be back in a week or two because he's not on IR. So
yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, obviously.
Yeah.
It's why is he trending? People just weren't rostering Jaden, I guess, in a couple of these leagues. Tyler Conklin, definitely go get him for tight end. I think that he's just a solid tight end. He's actually pretty athletic, pretty fast, and he's a great contested catch guy. And Rodgers was targeting him a ton in that game.
Yep.
And then Rico Dowdle's trending on here. I think that you can get ahead of the curve here. And I think that Rico Dowdle is going to continue to get more and more usage each week, especially being involved in the passing or the pass catching. So I think that we could see a significant workload for him next week. And then everyone's going to be scrambling if you want a solid flex, backup running back. So I still think we're in that window where you can go get him now for not too much. But if he happens to pop off next week against the Giants, did you say it's the Giants?
Yes, we play the Giants on Thursday.
Yeah, so I would go get him now. Andy Dalton. Yeah, I think he's definitely worth rostering. Went for a 27.56 fantasy score in his first game. 26 of 37, 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dalton, he's not going to do that every week, but that's definitely a solid backup. Or if you're, a bye week fill in.
Yeah. He's going to have to do that to win games. So if they're going to win, he's going to have to throw for that. So
he just had them looking like a well-oiled machine from the first quarter. Like their first 2 drives, he went all the way down the field for a touchdown. Like we had said, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. Chuba Hubbard, you got to go get him if he's available. Jonathan Brooks, we'll see in a couple weeks, but Chuba looks locked and loaded right now. So that's like solid RB2 with like RB1 upside week in and week out until Jonathan Brooks is healthy. And if for some reason Jake Ferguson is available because he was out for redraft, definitely worth picking up. Just depends on how desperate you are to. I think in a lot of these leagues, if you were already in on Jake Ferguson, you didn't drop him. So,
right.
That pretty much wraps it up. Looks like people are starting to go grab Jordan Addison. So hopefully he's able to return soon. This offense is just going to get better. Like it's pretty exciting for Darnold, if he's got these 3 solid wide receivers to throw to out there. But that covers the waiver portion of the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you hung out this long, we really appreciate you just sticking around with us. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy our content. And I guess that just covers just about everything. So enjoy the rest of your week. Good luck on your waiver bids, and we will catch you. Let's see, tomorrow night on Wednesday, we'll have our picks video that we'll be dropping for the Thursday night football. And then for fantasy football, the fantasy football show, we'll see you guys on Thursday to preview the Thursday night game and talk about our starts of the week. So have a good one, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Backdoor Fantasy Sports Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop us a comment. You can also find us on all platforms at Backdoor FS.